Hi guys, Bobby from Xbox Game Reviews, and today we are joined by Nic Watt from Nnooo. They are currently developing Blast Em Bunnies to come out on the Xbox One. Nic, if you would just like to introduce yourself and tell a little bit about the company.
Sure. My name is Nic Watt. I'm the founder and creative director at Nnooo. We're based in Sydney, Australia, and we're a small independent video games developer. There's three of us working for the company, two of which are on the development side. I used to work at Electronic Arts in London, and then my partner and I moved out to Sydney, Australia in 2006, where I used up savings that I had from the UK to try and start my own video games company. We've made quite a few games on Nintendo platforms. That was kind of our big break. And then since then we've broadened out onto multi-platform development, and Blast Em Bunnies being our first release across Xbox One amongst PlayStation 4, Nintendo 3DS and PlayStation Vita. And we're also branching out into doing a little bit of publishing as well, so we help other developers who've maybe not worked on console before get onto console and help them publish their games too.
Good to hear. So obviously I mentioned before that Blast Em Bunnies launches on March 11th on the Xbox One around the world. Can you give us an overview of the game, what to expect?
Yeah, so you're this cute little bunny, and you're defending your rabbit burrow against an onslaught of evil, but fairly cute looking bunnies who want to basically destroy you. So you've invented a whole bunch of cool and quirky weapons to do that with. So it's kind of a first-person style endless shooter. So you can turn, you're on a mounted gun turret, and you can turn and defend against all these different bunnies that have different types of attacks. So you can purchase a whole bunch of different weapons, you can upgrade them, and you can buy different weird and wonderful ammo types. So you've got things like heat-seeking parsnips, or you've got bouncing, splitting and exploding pumpkin bombs, amongst other things.
Alright. What was the inspiration behind it?
Well, we just come off, so we've done a whole bunch of games and software. So we just come off doing Escape Vector, which is quite an abstract kind of Pac-Man Tron-inspired game. And it had been received critically really well. It's probably one of our best reviewed and most award-winning games. But because it was quite abstract, it was very difficult to market to people. I think a lot of people, particularly in screenshots, it was like, I don't understand what that is. And we were also coming off another game called Spirit Hunters, which had really cute, colourful spirit characters, and it was an augmented reality game for the Nintendo DSi. And development taken a little bit longer than we expected, so it came out just at the beginning of the 3DS. And again, it was really well, like the video and everything, and all the characters and assets people loved. But we still, because of the augmented reality aspect, it was really difficult for us to find a way to market it, to really sell to players that you could explore the real world and find these spirits anywhere. So we knew we could create really great gameplay and really cool, cute characters. And really unique looking ones. So I was just brainstorming, and I spend a lot of time thinking about what we could do next and what sort of styles of games we could make. And actually the game was originally, it came into my head as like you defending the Earth in space against aliens and kind of looking up, down and all around you and shooting UFOs and stuff. But I thought that might be too niche in terms of the appeal, like it might only appeal to certain types of people. And that's kind of where the bunnies kind of came from. And then I thought, well, that could, boys and girls and people of all ages would hopefully love shooting bunnies. Yeah, because
that will appeal to not only the adult side, but the kids as well, because it'll say cute bunnies on the front.
Yeah.
I noticed a lot of your games use like really bright colours as well. I think I read somewhere that you actually said a statement that you prefer using the bright colours in the games.
Yeah, that's. I mean, so I think it's a conscious, sort of semi-conscious decision in that there's a lot of great games on Xbox 360 that I played that like the Fallout series and a lot of those games, but a lot of them are quite drab and seem to use a very limited. And it's obviously a decision that they make a very limited color palette. Whereas for me, I've always been a big Nintendo fan. That's kind of where I came to games from, and they're obviously quite colorful and vibrant and cheery. And I think it's just kind of rubbed off is that I like to kind of make worlds and situations where there is that vibrancy and that color, and it makes you like, I play games to feel happy, And I think, like particularly with games like Fallout, they kind of make you made me feel a little bit depressed after a while at how,
Yeah,
how dry and serious it was.
Yeah. Well, seeing as we're talking about the colours you went for and the things, I know that there's 9 enemies in the game, all different bright colours, and there's 5 weapons. Could you tell us a little bit about them, and also the main character? Is there just one main character, or is there more than one? Or
yeah, so there's just one main character. That's basically you, and you only really see it lying there, the character lying there at the start, and then you, because it's first person, you kind of go into it. So you occasionally, see like during like little tutorials and speech bubbles and stuff, we use the character there just to kind of reinforce that's who you're playing. But the main characters are the enemies that are attacking you. So you've got quite a variety of different types. Each one has sort of 3 different difficulty levels, if you are, which you kind of infer with color. So the blue enemies that are wearing blue are usually slightly easier to kill, don't have as much health. Enemies wearing yellow are harder, and then enemies wearing red usually take a lot more bullets to kill. And then from there you've got the walker, which is a big chubby guy. He's quite slow, and it'll take a while to get to you, and then he'll jump up and punch you in the face. And then you've got the runners, who are a little bit leaner and faster, and they'll kind of zigzag towards you, and then when they get close to you, they might push around the sides as well. You have the blocker, who carries a shield, so you can, if you're clever, you can kill it by not destroying the shield, by hitting it, at the sides, or it'll stop occasionally and put its head up. But the other tactic is you can destroy its shield as well, and if you do that, it will run at you and try and throw a grenade, so you've got to be quite quick before it lobs a grenade at your face. You also have a burrower, who dives underground, spends a lot of time underground trying to move around the environment, and then he'll pop up occasionally and look around and then jump out and dive into another hole. What else? We've got the flyers, who jump up and they're quite high in the air, and then they'll kind of try and dive bomb you. Grenadiers, who sit at the back and lob grenades. You can shoot the grenades out of the sky, but if they hit you, you'll obviously take damage. And then you have the boss, who will jump in, who's got a big plaster on his belly that may or may not be his weak point. You'll have to work that out. So on top of that, we've actually, it's only 4 weapons we've got. So you start off with the carrot rifle. You have that at the beginning of the game, and it only has 1 barrel. During the tutorial, we give you like fully upgraded weapons to practice with. And then once you come out of the tutorial, you start with just the basic 1 barrel, quite slow firing, which has carrot bullets. And then from there, by shooting the bunnies, they release coins, and you can shoot the coins and use those coins to purchase other weapons. So you've got 4 different ammo types for the carrot rifle, which range from like heat-seeking parsnips all the way up to daikon bullets, which fire out, and then whenever they hit the ground, you get this rain of huge amounts of daikon bullets all over the place. So that's quite powerful. Each weapon kind of has the bullet types kind of ramp up in how powerful and crazy they are. You've got the watermelon machine gun, which fires by default watermelon bullets, and then you can buy things like sticky raspberries, which will hit the bunnies and then grow over time and slow them down and then explode. You can also get heat-seeking chili seeds for them, which are really handy. And you can upgrade the barrels on each of the weapons. So the carrot rifle can go from single barrel right away up to triple, and the watermelon machine gun can end up looking like one of the guys, that big gun that Arnie had in Predator with what I can't even remember what it's called now. Yeah. It's got that massive. Yeah, you can end up having one of those.
So whenever you get it, you can upgrade them all and things like that. Collecting the coins when you're killing the enemies.
Yeah, and then so the other 2 weapons are, you've got the Turnip Mortar, which is more fires in kind of an arc, and its bullets are all about kind of like the mortar style bombs, and then the runner beam laser gun, which has straight firing beam style.
I think I seen that in the trailer. I think it was. I've seen it in the trailer.
Yeah.
That looked like it would be the favourite. It did.
Yeah, it's good. The top upgrade on that one is the leaks. And they fire out, and not only do you get the beams, but you get these shreds that heat seek from it as well. So it's like crazy powerful.
Good to hear. So something that I noticed when I was looking around for the game is that there's 2 different versions of the game that you can buy. There's the standard game, if you will, for £4, and then the deluxe edition for £16. And I know a lot of developers would have just released the £16 version just so they could kind of try and get as much money out of the game as they could. I was just wondering what the reasoning behind it releasing the two different versions were, and if you could explain a little bit about the extras in the deluxe edition, so to say, and what you get on top of that.
So we've always, I'm a big believer that you know, when you buy a game, that the core gameplay is something that should become as kind of the price of the game.
Yes, yes.
So everything that everything that you get in the, is it £4 in the UK? Sorry, because there's like so many different.
I think it's about £3.99 or something along the lines of that. So I've just put around £4 kind of thing is what I was saying.
That sounds about right. So it's $4.99 US and like £3.99 sounds about right. So in that version, basically you get the full game and all the gameplay experience.
Yes.
So when you buy the deluxe version, you're getting. We added a whole bunch of, because we thought the characters were really cute and colourful. We had a whole bunch of different skins that you can change the enemy types.
Yeah,
so they just look silly and different. And we've also made environments that match those as well. So what we were doing was. You can just buy the base game and have great fun with that. Yeah. And then you can individually buy, like if you just wanted, say, the zombie skin pack to make the bunnies look like zombies, you can buy that as well. And I think that would probably, I'll just have to say US prices because I don't know all the conversions for the American. In US dollars, it would be $1.99 for a skin pack and $4.99 for the base game. And then you can also buy an arena, and it'd be $2.99. So the DLC can, like, if you bought everything individually, it can become quite pricey. Yeah. And we wanted to offer a way where people could get all of the cool stuff for a cheaper price by bundling it all together. And it was more just the fact that, you know, if you just want to test the game and find out whether you like it, you can spend $4.99 or £4. And then once you've got the game, you can either buy the DLC individually, or we actually offer the same content as the main bundle as an extra add-on called the mega bundle. So you won't, if you buy the game on day one and you're like, I like this, you won't lose out against buying the super mega bundle. There's another bundle you can buy that will take it up to exactly the same price.
So people aren't losing out the pocket kind of thing.
That was, so it was just. Yeah, I mean, it's more just a decision that we wanted to make sure that anyone could enjoy the game and weren't put off. And often, if you see something for like £20, you're like, oh, that's quite a serious purchase.
Yeah. And there's a lot of games coming out now where they are trying to keep them cheaper. I've noticed. There's a few that came out recently that are around about the £11 marker. And again, that's just the base game though, and then there's still things on top. So bringing it for £16 in England or £16.99, whatever it's going to be, that's not a bad shout at all. Especially if you're going to get everything. If people like the game, like you were saying with the extra bundle to bring it up, it's going to be worth it for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's about, I think it represents about 60% saving if you bought everything individually. So we've tried to make it, you know, really enticing bundle, and we think it's cool. All the arenas, like you get with each arena, you get 3 extra music tracks and all sorts of things. So we hope people think it's good value for money. It was either that or just bundle it all together and sell it for one price, and I just thought that might put a lot of people off.
Yeah, I mean, I did remember the arenas, but the only one I can think of in the top of my head now is it the Luchador.
Yeah,
that's the only one I can remember in my head right now. What's recording? But I did see them. I did see them on the press release. There was 5. They all look great, nice bright colours and all different. The zombie one looked good, like you mentioned earlier. So everyone else to check out the rest, you'll have to buy it rather than find out in the interview. Next question. With the larger majority of your games being developed for Nintendo, how did it differ in the creative process of when making Blast Em Bunnies for the Xbox and incorporating it with other platforms?
Yeah, so that was interesting. We've done a little bit of work. So when we made, so all of our previous games have primarily been targeted at Nintendo platforms, and that was mainly because when we first started independent development, and we were coming up with a whole bunch of different game ideas, and we're trying to pitch them to Sony and Nintendo and Microsoft. Yes. And Nintendo were the ones who kind of took a chance on us first, really. And so we took that opportunity, and then from there we've kind of built up enough of a reputation that Xbox and PlayStation made it slightly easier for us to get approved, which has been great. So we developed like must have been 4 or 5 titles by the time we started thinking about cross-platform development. And Escape Vector on Vita and 3DS was kind of our first attempt at that. Yes. And we're quite lucky in that a lot of the platform holders, so Nintendo have this internal middleware that they provide to developers, which allows you to make games and not have to spend a lot of money, say buying on Unreal Engine or something like that.
Yeah.
And Sony also have a really good middleware engine called the Fire Engine, which they provide for free, and you get all of the source code, so all the programming for that, so you can make edits and changes to it. So we assessed that, we used that for Escape Vector, and then assessed that and thought, well, look, we could make a game for PlayStation platforms and Nintendo platforms, and then if other, because there was a lot of talk about the Xbox One when we started Blast Em Bunnies, and about how it was going to be very much based on Windows. So we just took a gamble that because this Fire Engine supported Windows, we would hopefully be able to modify it and get an Xbox One version out. And so that, it was tricky. I mean, so part of the development process obviously is we had to make sure we were thinking about the game and the gameplay and how it would target all these different machines. So like on the 3DS, because it's got a gyroscope, you can aim using that. Yes. But on Xbox One and PS4, the controls are obviously slightly different because you use sticks and buttons. But most of it, I mean, the game was designed to be quite family friendly and pick up and play. So we didn't have to think too much about how it was going to translate. The biggest challenge was more just making sure we could get the graphical fidelity, because we wanted, obviously on the 3DS it's not as powerful, so we wanted to make sure that the bunnies on the Xbox One and the PS4 looked amazing, and we were really trying to make them look like a Pixar cartoon brought to life was our aim. Yeah.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it. I've done a little bit digging just before we arranged this interview, and I've seen that you were working on a game called Blast for the Xbox 360, and this is just before you went into development with WiiWare for the games that you were saying before. What are the chances of the project being brought back to life with you now bringing games out for the Xbox One, or do you have any other plans for anything else to come out on Xbox?
Yes, so Blast was one. So basically, when we started the company, Blast was the first game that we started working on, and it was a kind of prototype. Yes. And we started programming in XNA, which was Microsoft's kind of free programming language or package for the 360. And that we started doing that in the hope that we would be able to make it an Xbox Live Arcade game. Yeah. But as we were doing that, we were finding out more about how to get approved for Xbox, and it was just at the time when a lot of indie developers had started releasing on the platform, and I think that the first few that came out, they did really well financially, but I don't think Microsoft at that point had been set up to properly support it or realized how much work it was supporting independent developers, because most of them have never done like proper QA and testing on these sorts of machines before, and it is quite a big step up. If you've just done a PC game to doing a console game, it's like, oh, actually I need to test this game really robustly, and there's all these checks and criteria. So they changed a lot of the way they were going to approve developers, and it meant that developers like us either needed to find a publisher like Capcom or someone like that, or we would need to release disc games before we could release digital games. So that made it so that made it kind of quite a tough choice at that point, which is why we kind of pursued a WiiWare, and then from there obviously built up a bit of a reputation. So in terms of Blast coming back, it was a side scroll. The idea was as a side-scrolling shooter. This was one of my favorite genres, and we got quite far in development with it. And we wanted to make it a multiplayer online game where each player could play a different. It was kind of like your ship was like a cutesy character, right. But very vector graphics style. And they had different abilities, and the idea was that you would work cooperatively together to be able to explore different parts of the map that maybe you couldn't get to by yourself. Right. So I mean, we didn't get as far as getting the multiplayer working, but we had quite a good prototype. So maybe one day, but it's definitely been shelved for just now. And what was the end of it? I missed it.
Anything in the future that you've got going for the Xbox?
Right, for Xbox One. Yeah. So we're working on so because we've branched out into doing a bit of publishing as well now, our first published title by another developer we released on Wii U last year. We're now working with 4 or 5 other developers, and most of those games are coming to PS4 and Xbox One. We should have an announcement later this week, I think, where there's an expo in Sydney called GX that we're going to on Friday. And we're going to be announcing a bunch of games that we're going to be bringing to Xbox One and PS4 later in the week.
And lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add for the people watching this interview?
Well, thanks for taking time to watch the interview, and we hope you enjoy the game. I mean, obviously, part of the decision was we tried to make it a kind of a fairly family-friendly game, so hopefully, like your sons and daughters, or nieces and nephews, or cousins, whatever, will enjoy it. But it's also got, we like to try and make sure the depth of the gameplay is there, so it's got something substantial. There's lots of missions you can take on each day, and challenges and medals. So it's something that, you know, it's not going to take up all of your time like a big Call of Duty or a Halo maybe would do, but it's something you kind of snack on in between running around shooting people in the face and jumping from helicopters and stuff. But we look forward. I've been a big Xbox fan since the original Xbox. I generally buy all the consoles, and I bought the original Xbox with Halo 1 on launch day. And Jet Set Radio Future. So we're really excited to be bringing a game out finally on the Xbox platform. We've really wanted to do that for a long time. So I hope all you guys and girls enjoy it.
Right, guys, Blast Em Bunnies comes out on the 11th of March. Keep an eye out for it.
Yeah. And you can pre-order it now.
Yeah, you can pre-order now. And also, if you do like it, the base game, you can get the deluxe edition. Is there a name for the deluxe edition, Nick?
Yeah, it's a super mega bundle.
Super mega bundle. Sorry, you said that earlier. If you do like it, you can get the super mega bundle for the same price after you've originally purchased the starter one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much everything. If you like what you've seen, stick a subscribe on, stick a like, and we'll hear from you soon. See you later.